So here we are, and welcome to Make Orientation a Want To, Not a Have To. You're going to be working in O groups for 7 weeks, starting really soon. So we got to make sure that we make training and orientation and engagement a want to, where they come back week after week after week after week. And that's why we're here, to help set you up for a great experience. My name's Joe. I work with Collegiate Empowerment. As you can see, the bottom logo there. There's a couple people from my team who are probably going to be wearing almost the same shirt. It's awesome. And we've been doing this for 25 years, but we've been doing Zoom meetings and events like this for quite some time. So you should expect a great experience. Here's some of the faces of the team that you'll be seeing here. We've been doing this for quite some time, and we have a new and different team and a better team every single year. Some of them have been with us for many years. Some have just joined the team recently over the last year. But we've got some awesome people on the team. We're always bringing you high energy. So this isn't going to be some boring lecture that you're just going to sit and watch the entire time. We're going to have some games and participation. So if you are sitting on your bed, be prepared to put your laptop or your phone or whatever it is you're watching. Be prepared to put that down and stand up and use the space around you. We're going to make this as interactive as possible so that we can have some real impact, right? We know everyone learns differently. So if you're like, I need that visual, I just want to learn it by watching, well, then you can do that. If you need to learn by talking and speaking and connecting with others, well, we're going to do that too. If you need to stand up and physically interact with the ideas and the material, we're going to do that too. So we're going to make sure that we hit every one of you in whatever way that you tend to learn the most, and we're going to do that with everybody. All right, so if you hate lectures, you're going to love this experience. We got a really great and beautiful experience that we've created for you. Again, make training, make orientation, make engagement, make this experience a want to, not a have to. And that's my job over the next 30 minutes. So we're going to start with a demo. We're going to roll right into this conversation, right into this experience. And just like if you were there last year, back in August with me, I think it was August 14th or 15th, we took the first 30 minutes to show you how to engage people. So we're going to do it as we do it. And then we'll have some breakout rooms as we go through the experience. So you're going to be assigned randomly to some rooms. You'll talk to some folks. You'll debrief just like you would in like a small group chat. We're going to do this as real as possible. And here's why. The world is different now more than ever. We don't know if campus is opening. We don't know if we're going back. We don't know how we're going back, what that's going to look like, what it'll sound like, and what it'll feel like. So we have to use this opportunity to do things differently, to think differently. So that's what today is all about. It's about making this a great experience for you so that you can make it a great experience for those students who are considering coming to, or trying to figure out how they're going to come to Millersville in the fall. And there's 2 quotes that come to mind. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, and throw away the plan. That first quote comes from a fictional character, Captain Cold, on the Flash TV show that I watch with my kids, who are right now self-managing and self-directing, as my wife is sleeping upstairs because she's a neonatal nurse practitioner. So she's on the front lines of all this. So just as you've invited me into your home, I've invited you into my home, and you should know that there's distractions in my house, just like there are in your house. You might hear my dog bark because she barks at everything, right? But the whole point is we got to come from grace. We made a plan. We're now executing the plan, but expect the plan to go off the rails. Things are out of our control right now. The point is, the second quote, the plan is nothing, but planning is everything. And that's from Dwight D. Eisenhower. So think about that. The plan is nothing. You're going to put together a plan for 7 weeks, and the first time it hits ground, the first time you have your O group meeting, something's going to change and make you say, oh, I have to change that next week. That's okay. The plan is nothing, but planning is everything. So here's what we need to be doing as leaders. Here's what leadership needs to be. Not what it is, but what it needs to be. So read along with me. It's the art of inspiring people, the science of empowering people, and the business of preparing people to take ownership, make decisions, and take collaborative action towards a greater vision, right, with their full potential for who they are, thereby becoming better leaders in the process. So I want to break it down just for a moment for you. Our job is to inspire people. These are tough times, these are challenging times. Everyone's using all the U words right now. It's uncertain, it's unpredictable, it's unplanned, it's unprecedented, right? But our job is to inspire as a leader. Let's get people to want to be a part of this. Our job as leaders, as orientation leaders, is to get people to feel empowered that they can do it, right? So first they have to want to, then they have to say, I can do this. They have to believe in themselves. But then lastly, this is a business right now. We're running this ship as an organization, right? As a unit. And then our business, our job is preparing them to take ownership for whatever experience that they are creating for themselves. So that they're taking ownership, they're taking accountability, they're taking responsibility, they're making great decisions, they're taking action collaboratively as we are going to today towards a bigger, brighter future that we're going to start defining for us today, right? And then by you helping them become greater leaders, you become a better leader in the process. And that's the magic of what leadership needs to be, not just what it is, but what it needs to be. It's a beautiful thing. So you as a leader, as an orientation leader, what do you need to do? You want to be able to create a space, right? So here in Zoom, you're going to do it on Microsoft Teams, but here in Zoom, we've created a space, right? It's a virtual space. Well, it's not so much virtual because virtual means fake reality. This is real. This is remote. It's digital. But you got to be able to do 4 things with these students. 1, build connections. So they have to have the chance to talk, connect with each other, connect with you. The second one is gain confidence, right? Because that is what a lot of us are lacking right now, confidence in where we see the future going. So part of your role is helping them do that. Third is help them share feelings and ask questions, as again, we are going to demonstrate and do today. And then lastly is find a reason to stay. Right now, it's really easy to quit. It's really easy to give up. It's really easy to be lazy. It's really easy for you to turn off your video and just say, I'm just going to go do whatever chores I need to do. But we also know by doing that, you lose the accountability, right? If you're ironing your clothes right now, you're a little distracted. If you're folding your laundry, I don't know why I keep coming back to chores, but if you're doing anything, right? If you've got kids at home, if you've got parents that need you, if you've got somebody in the hospital, whatever it may be, the world is radically transformed and it's radically different than we expected it to be. So we've got to help students who have already said, I want to go to Millersville. We got to give them a reason to stay. So how are we going to do that? Well, before 2020, this is what college success looked like. You go to class, you get there on time, sit towards the front, stay late, review your notes before and after class, study a lot, understand the syllabus, do your assignments on time, ask professors and classmates about missed assignments, get to know your professors, meet with your advisors, schedule appointments with career services, have enough underwear so you don't have to do laundry for 2 weeks, take care of your body, exercise, eat right, make positive friends, get involved, add leadership to your resume, avoid too much mac and cheese or ramen noodles, improve your basic skills in reading and math, find ways to stay motivated, set learning goals, set career goals, practice good time management, stay organized, and stop texting your roommate when they're in the room next to you. That was pre-2020, right? It wasn't that complicated. It's actually relatively simple, and if you Googled it, you can get all that information. But where are we now? 2020 college success? I don't know, and I think it's important that we acknowledge we don't know. It's okay, right? Is there a way that you can build people's confidence in a place where there's a lot of uncertainty and unpredictability? Absolutely. And again, through this demonstration throughout this entire day, we're going to create that together. You're going to create a way, create a vision, create a foundation, create those connections so that in all of this uncertainty, we can give people certainty about who they are, the decisions they're making, and their choice to attend and be a part of, actively participating at Millersville. So unmute yourself for a quick second. And if you're with me, if you agree, if you're excited about this opportunity, go ahead and give me an oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love that. So we have a plan, throw away the plan. It's not working, right? But if it's just say it was working, your plan, your script, your O groups, however that was all going to work out, if you've got that plan, but you don't have a good delivery system, or the venue or your technology is not working, or your audience, you don't have a good relationship with them, is that plan going to work? No or no? No, absolutely not, all right? So what we call educational performance, right? Forget the plan and the script. You need to have a great delivery mechanism. So you're going to use Microsoft Teams, and we're going to support you in how to deliver this both digitally and setting up your studio space, right? You've got the venue and the technology, and then the connection that you're creating with that audience. That's what's really most important now more than ever. And guess what? Who knows how long we're going to be doing this, but you're going to learn some skills today, here and now, that you're going to be using for the rest of your life. Because digital technology, remote delivery, you know, doing stuff through Zoom and Microsoft Teams and Skype, and that's not going away. In fact, we might use it more. We might use it more. And I know you're thinking, another video event. Don't worry. We're going to make this and give you the tools and capabilities to transform the way you do all of your video events, right? That's what we're doing today. So we have to do the opposite of the typical experience. We've got to create a refreshing experience. The opposite of what people are used to. We're going to do it so differently today. So you know your content. We want you to be able to engage. The key word is what? Engage. Everyone say engage.
Engage.
Engage in the digital experience. So unmute yourself right now. This is what we're going to do right now. If you hate lectures, you're going to love this. I've got 3 promises. We're going to learn some what?
Stuff.
I said fun.
But if we learn some stuff without having fun, what's going to happen?
You're not going to learn.
Not going to learn. Or you're going to be bored, you're going to be disrupted, or you're not going to be an active learner, right? So that's why in big, bold letters, first we have what?
Have fun.
Then we're going to learn some
Stuff.
really good stuff, I promise. And lastly, you've got to feel how?
Empowered.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you right here and now to get empowered, to get physically and actively engaged. Put your laptop or your phone or your iPad down, and I want you to stand. I want you to put all your stuff down, and I want you to stand right now as if your life depended on it. Pop up out of that bed. Pop out of that seat. Let's get ready. Let's get active. And as you stand, I want you to put your hands up, all the way up. Go ahead, get a good stretch in there. I know that feels good. Don't hit your ceiling. You're so tall. All right, I love that. So as you are stretching, put your hands up, all the way up, stretch to your left. Your other left. I'm watching you. Come on down. Stretch to your right. Get a good stretch in there. There are 60 people in this meeting, all getting a good, probably first stretch of the day. Stretch all the way back. All the way back. All right. Shake it out. Shake it out. Now, point to yourself and say, I now commit 100%. Do it.
I know 100%.
100%.
Put your head, say, I will apply what I learned.
I will apply what I
learned.
Hey, I'm going to have a great time.
I'm gonna have
Have a great time.
Everybody else on screen say, you're going to have a great time.
You're going to have a great time.
We're all going to have a great time.
We're all going to have a great time.
Now, at this point, we would typically be doing high fives and creating some energy in the space. I know we can't do that. I know that we are not able to do that. But here's what I'm going to ask. Here's the challenge for you. If you have someone else in your home, whether it's a roommate that is not sick and you're able to connect with that roommate, a housemate, if you got other family members, I want you to take 30 seconds, run around the house, give everybody high fives and say, hey, I'm going to have a damn good day today. And if you're not, give some virtual high fives. So go ahead, take 30 seconds, run around that house, go find some people to connect with.
You're
Have a damn good time today.
damn day today.
You're like, what? Why are we doing this? I'm showing you. This is a demonstration,
Have a
right?
good time today.
Damn good time today. Love
a
it.
damn good day
I
today.
can't hear you. There's like 3 more people talking.
Love it.
Gonna have a damn good day today.
Because
No, damn
have a
good day
good day today, apparently, from Joe.
My mom is very confused.
My roommate.
Yep. It's like, wait, aren't you supposed to be busy all afternoon? You're like, I'm just here to give you a high five.
He asked why she heard all this jumping and running up and down the stairs.
Love it.
My roommate
Love
was so
it, love it.
confused.
Appreciate that. All right, thanks so much for that. And as everyone else is kind of coming back into this room, I want you to start thinking about what's unique about this session. The way we've introduced it, the way that we've set it up, the way that we are getting engaged, the way that, yes, you heard some music, you are hearing me talk about what's going on in the world, everything in a new context right now. So start thinking about what's unique about this session and what needs to be unique now more than ever. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to break out into breakout rooms. There's 11 rooms that we set up. We got 60 participants, so everyone but me, Kate, and Chris are going to be popping into the rooms. So all of you are going to be joining those rooms. I don't care who starts, who facilitates, but someone please take the leadership and get the conversation started and ask this question: what's unique about this session? We're going to put you in those rooms for about 5 minutes just to have a conversation there. You can say hello, introduce yourself. I know you've got your name on screen. And then I will close those sessions. So in about 4 minutes, you'll see a reminder pop up. It says breakout rooms about to close in 60 seconds. You can choose to use all of that time, or you can pop right back into what we're calling the main room. All right. So we're going to start those breakout sessions, and we're going to give you the chance to connect with everybody else who is in that room. Say hi, tell them where you are. You can tell them what room you're in your house. You can tell them what state you're living in. So first build a quick connection and then ask, hey, what's unique about this session? And again, you might see somebody from Collegiate Empowerment in there. They are not here to run or facilitate your session. That's your job. You're the orientation leader today. So we're going to pop out into those breakout rooms in 10 seconds. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, raise your hand, start making some noise. All right, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's see. We've got a whole bunch unassigned. I should be joining those rooms in a moment. Why are all these people unassigned? Technical difficulty, don't worry. We're going to get that right back. See, this is what's going to happen no matter how many times you planned, no matter how many times you worked. All right. So take a moment right now. Do the thinking for yourself. This is me facilitating as I got to wait for something to reboot. So think for yourself, what's unique about the session? What's the first thing that you're going to share when you get into that room? What's the second thing that you're going to share when you get into that room? What's that third thing that you're going to share? What's working? What are you interested in? What are you excited about as you get ready for those breakout rooms? And unfortunately, I can't just kill the rooms, but here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start these rooms. We've got it automatic. Automatically recreate all rooms. Ready for it? Now we're going. All right.
I didn't get, was I supposed to be moved?
There's still one who's unassigned. Miranda, maybe you popped in late. I will assign you to breakout room 4. Oh, even the co-hosts are gone. Yvonne, you're here too? How do I get you into a room? Yvonne, I'm going to unmute you for a moment. Are you in the room here with me? Can you unmute and say hello? All right, Yvonne, if you are here, I'm unable to put you into a breakout room. I think you are on mute and your video is off right now. There you go. All right. Hey, Yvonne, welcome back. Do you have video capability today? All right, Yvonne, you are on mute and your audio is off, just for your reference. Do you have capability to turn those on? There you are. All right, you are on mute right now. If you could unmute yourself, say hi, just so I know you're here. Mute is on the bottom. You look like you have some things going on in the house, Yvonne, is that right? Yvonne, can you hear me? Yvonne, are you there? Hi, Yvonne, can you hear me? Do you have audio capabilities, Yvonne? Hello, Yvonne, do you have sound? Trying to get you set up with the breakout room and the experience here. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, wave. Can you hear me? Just sent a private message to you. Do you happen to see that? See that you're on your computer, sitting in a nice comfy chair. Not sure if you can see me or hear me. Having some issues, needed to restart. All right. Can you hear me now? Yes. All right. Take yourself off mute real quick just so we can do a quick test.
Okay.
There you are. Perfect. Love it. All right. So did you miss the last part? Do you know what everyone's going on right now?
No, I don't. But I work in the department, so I don't know if Chris gave you something that I'm supposed to be doing. Otherwise, I usually just take attendance and make sure the students are all where they're supposed to be.
Gotcha. Well, right now everyone's in a breakout room.
Okay.
They're just having a conversation about what's been unique about this experience so far. And I just wanted to make sure that we can get you set up and you knew what was going on. Otherwise, I would have dropped you into a breakout room, but we're going to close those in just a moment.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that.
No problem. I'm glad you're all settled.
Thank you.
You got it. They'll be coming back in about a minute or less.
Perfect.
All right, we're all going to pop back in.
Yeah.
So if you have something to share, please drop that in the chat box right now so we can see how many of your responses are similar or unique to everybody else. So as you are coming back from the breakout rooms, open up the chat box, type in one thing that is making this session unique compared to maybe some other sessions, video sessions, conversations that you've had so far. So type something in there and we'll see everyone's responses. We'll see what's unique. We'll see what's not. And Kate is going to manage that, and she's going to share with us some of the things that are being said in those rooms. So go ahead, Kate, take yourself off mute and start sharing as those are popping up.
I didn't realize I'm already off mute. Yeah, so a lot of people are saying the same things. A lot of people love that we're up and moving. Being excited for the high energy and having to be moving around. I know the breakout session that I was in, we talked about like typical meetings or even lectures through Zoom University, you know, you're not up and moving typically. So the use of music, which is awesome. And energy, that you're passionate about it, and your passion shows through the presentation. Creating a community even though we physically can't be together. Kara, I love that one. Sarah said our group said that we felt more of a presentation and felt like we're equals, so less of a power dynamic. Camille Palmer says using call and responses that can be said out loud or typed in the chat. I think that's great. And just a few more. Cool to have everyone's videos on here to see what people are here. Bronte saying the initial quotes, and Joe is passionate and we're up and moving. So yeah, a lot of us said the same stuff. Very exciting, guys. Love it, love it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Love that. So you're going to see how we are making connections in different ways. Obviously, everyone seeing everyone else's face immediately makes it more personalized. We have the option of doing this via Zoom webinar. And if you've been on a webinar, you don't see other people's faces. So that is the very, very important reason why we said, no, we're doing this as face-to-face as we can get right now, right? I don't care if you're wearing pants, I'm wearing pants. The test is not for you, it's for me. Right, but we want to just understand, because you're learning through this experience, right? So you said we like the energy, we liked the passion, which, you know, those two go hand in hand. We like that there's some music to it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can include these as you create an experience for O groups over the coming weeks, right? So now's the chance. Let's put together some thoughts, some questions, some insights. Again, drop it in that chat box, or if you want, raise your hands or just start speaking. I hope it's not all 60 of us all at the same time, but use that chat box to say, hey, I've got a thought, I've got a question. Why did you do this? Why are you doing it that way? And I might say, hey, some of those we're going to answer as we go throughout the day, or now might be the perfect time to answer those questions or whatnot. So take a moment, start thinking about those. Kate, again, is going to manage that chat box, and she's going to facilitate for me. And then if I can find your video and your picture real quick, we'll spotlight you so I can have a conversation with you about that. So go ahead, Kate, what's the first thing that's coming up?
The first question's from Phoebe. How do you pick your fun music?
How do I pick my fun music? So Phoebe, is it Phoebe Tanis?
That's me.
All right, fantastic. You're being spotlighted so everybody can see you right now.
Oh, hey guys.
So ask us your question and give me some more context to the question.
I was really just loving the vibe of the music. I got a little like 80s workout music video vibe going there, and I really liked it. So I was just wondering, you know, what makes you pick the fun music that you have in the background while we're like stretching and, you know, getting ready to go. I was really feeling the vibe.
Love that, love that. So it's not 80s, it's 2008, I think, whenever Iron Man came out. I believe that's the Iron Man theme song. I personally like to choose music that does not have words, because when it has words, people start singing them, just like I would, and you don't want to hear me sing, and then we get distracted by it. So I'll tend to pick some sort of instrumental or movie soundtrack, movie theme that people might know, they might like, they might appreciate. Or, I mean, everyone's sad right now.
So do you usually stick to like superheroes? Like, is that kind of the realm of music you go for, is like superhero themes, or is that just the one that you liked this time?
That happens to be the one. I do like those as themes because those kinds of movies usually have an emotional roller coaster. There's always the highs, right, where you're going on that journey, then there's the low.
Hero's
right?
journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm an English major, so that's, you know, that's all up my alley. But yes.
So you get a little bit of a mix within that music. Now the trick is, and this is very important in terms of your digital delivery, if you're going to add music to it, it is always louder on their end than it is on yours. So you have to put it almost to the lowest low. That's the trick, and that's stuff that as questions come up as you're designing this, please let us know. But Phoebe, that's an awesome question. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, Kate, who's next?
Yeah, another great question from Kat Hopple, or Caitlin Hopple in the chat. You're going to spotlight her. What happens if students do not respond or do not participate?
That's an awesome question. So who was it, Kat?
Caitlin Hopple.
Caitlin, start speaking. I'm going to look for your video, but I got to scroll through 2 screens here.
I'm right here. I probably should change my name to Kat.
I wasn't sure which one you wanted me to say.
There you go. All right, you're spotlighted. So talk to us a little bit about the concern that you have.
I just know for orientation, in normal terms and not Zoom world, there are students who are disengaged or do not show up or do not come. So what would you do if you had, like, with the situation where you're all getting up, went in high five someone in a different room, different things like that? What happens if the students do not respond or do not participate or not engaged in it, even after you try to do that engagement activity?
Sure. Well, that's a beautiful and question. I'm sure other people have that question too. So there's a lot of different ways. It's not just having them do it, but it's setting up the experience so that they want to do it, right? So let me throw it right back at you, Caitlin. Why did you get up? Why did you do it? Why did you stand up? Why did you stretch? What made you participate? Because it wasn't me.
Trying to be engaged in the kind of environment that we have.
Sure. So right now, I find that people are trying to engage more because there's such a lack of engagement in the whole rest of their lives and the rest of the world. So number one, you've already got that in your corner. It's helpful that way. Number two is we set up the whole experience to make it easy for you to do so, right? We said right from the beginning, as you came on, you were in the waiting room, then you popped in. We said, turn on your video, turn on your microphone. So right from the beginning, we said, this is going to be engaging. We asked you to do that several times. We told you why. Then as Kate introduced the day and she introduced the experience, she also did it again. Then I did it again, and you probably heard it 4 or 5 times before we actually got started. Then as we're getting in, we explained how we're setting up the experience to be the opposite of a boring lecture. It's going to be high energy. It's going to be interactive. So we're laying the foundation so that when I finally ask you to do something, you've already heard it several times, but you've already probably agreed to it too. Like, oh, okay, I get it. There's going to be games. There's going to be participation. This is on me to make this a great experience.
Yeah.
So all those pieces in line. And then the simplest one was, all right, put your stuff down and please stand up. That's an easy request. Now stretch up. That's an easy request. Except when people go the wrong way, now that's the joke. It works all the time, by the way, if you want to do that one. Stretch to your left. They're going to see you go a certain way, so they're going to go a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that makes it really easy. And then when you finally ask the questions, you've had them say yes to everything leading up to it, where they said, yes, I'll turn my video on. Yes, I'll turn my microphone on. Yes, I'll set up this experience. Yes, I'll have pen and paper ready. Yes, I want to have a good time. Then they said, oh yeah, so yes, I'm going to verbally participate. Yes, I'm going to stand up. Yes, I'm going to stretch. All of these are yeses. So it makes it easy for them to say, sure, I guess we're going to ask questions now.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Kate, what else we got going on?
A few more questions. We got 4 more here in the chat.
All right.
Next one is from Sophia. What is the biggest change you had to make transition from face-to-face to Zoom?
Awesome question. So Sophia, start speaking so that yellow box shines on your screen. Hey, there you are. We're going to spotlight you for a moment. So tell us about the transition. So what's the biggest challenge?
Well, I'm curious about that because I've never gotten to experience something like this before. So I'm curious as to like how different is this experience for us new OLs versus people that have experienced this before in the face-to-face form.
Sure. So a great question for me, but also for the other OLs. So when we get into other breakout rooms, make sure you ask that question, right? Because they're also the experts too. They've done this. We're going to have a conversation between rookies and returners later on as well. So I'll answer quickly on my end. The transition was really easy. Why? Because we at Collegiate Empowerment promise a high energy, interactive, engaging, and fun experience. We're going to do that on stage. We're going to do that with 5,000 people. We're going to do it with 5 people. We're going to do it online. We're going to do it with 5 people online. We're going to do it with 50 people online like we're doing today. So it's about the approach that you have and how can you just take that approach and move it. So we keep saying we're not pivoting because this is the work that we do. We're just shuffling the way that we're doing that work. And instead of doing it here, we're doing it here. So just taking all this stuff, putting it there, and we get to work. So think of the same kind of experience that you would create if you were meeting with them in person. Do all that stuff.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Love that.
Next
All right,
question we got, you touched on this a little bit, but Anna Page is wondering, how do you motivate students to get up and move around and participate if they are reluctant at first?
Oh, I love that. So Anna, I'm looking for you now.
Hi.
Speak up. Say one more word.
Okay. Hi.
There you are. Perfect. I got to wait for Zoom to find you. All right. Now everyone can see you, right? I just want to confirm everyone can see that Anna is spotlighted, right?
Yep, she's big.
Perfect. All right. So give me a little bit more with your question. I love it.
I guess you did already kind of touch on it. But there's like, I know even like with my own Zoom classes, like a lot of people either like keep their camera off or they're just really reluctant to participate in like discussions and stuff. So I didn't know if you had any more like tips for that, even though you already kind of touched on it.
Yeah. So the word that you used was reluctant, and that's actually perfect because there are a lot of people who are reluctant to turn their cameras on. So Kate and I both said, turn your cameras on. We're not really giving you a choice. We didn't say, hey, if you wouldn't mind. No, we're leaders and we're directing you. We're providing that leadership. So turn on your cameras, open up the lines of your microphone. So we're directing, right? We're telling you exactly the kind of experience we're trying to create. At the same time, I'm not making anybody wrong for keeping their camera off. I'm not going to make them wrong, right? Because then why are they going to want to engage with us if we're making them wrong, especially on day one? So you're going to continue to see how we're engaging throughout. So you're going to get a lot of like through demonstration, through this experience. How do we keep making it a great and easy way to engage? But that's your job. So think about it. How do I make it easy to engage? Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, and then don't make them wrong. Nobody's wrong, especially now. Grace. Grace is the word that we come with. Love that, Anna. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's do one more, and so we can keep the momentum going.
Awesome. So next, we have a great question from Alyssa Coots. How do you find the balance between a fun presentation and giving all of the information that the students will need?
Love that. So Alyssa, you know the drill now. Start saying some words. I'll find you on my screen.
Hello. Okay, so I guess mainly my question is, I know at least for me personally, if I was an incoming freshman, I would have a lot more questions than answers, and I would want that information. But like as an orientation leader, I still want orientation to be fun for the group. So like what's the best way to find that balance where they get the information that they really need and deserve while also still making orientation like a fun time for them?
I love that. How did I do it?
I guess just making it really interactive and like you said, like not really pointing anyone out. Like if they didn't have their audio or their video on, you just kind of let it go, but you encourage people to interact and be a part of the presentation.
Yeah. Can you think of anything else that I might have done, or not that I might have done that I actually did? There's a lot of things I might have done. Did I call out your name when you entered from the waiting room?
Yes.
Right?
And you introduced everyone and you made sure you went through everyone's name.
I went through that whole list as soon as we opened the room, right? So you're making that connection with people. We're all wearing the hello, my name is sticker today, right? So making that connection and making it easy for people to feel wanted and needed and just personable, right? So that's a really big part of it. Dale Carnegie said the sweetest sound in the world is someone's own name. So use their names and connect with them that way. That's one of the biggest ways, but then you answered your question already for me, so I don't know if I have any more work to do here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, there's going to be more questions. I know I'm not going to be able to answer every single question, but I want to make sure that we keep the momentum moving and we keep going here. That's what we're going to do, and if we didn't answer your questions by the time we continue through, don't worry. We're here until 5. So next is the mindset, and you've heard this phrase, college is the best 4 years of your life. If you've heard it, make some noise and say, uh-huh. Guess what? It's a lie. It's a lie. It can't be, because you tell me unmuted, if college was the best 4 years of your life, the rest of your life would what?
Be disappointment.
Hill.
I mean, it's pretty cool, but like, I don't know if it's the best.
I heard the word suck many times, and I heard someone say, I'd be disappointed, right? And wouldn't you? So listen, we're gonna do some magic, and I've done this digitally once, The magic works through the screen, but you got to help too. So you got to use your hands. Everyone pick up your hands, go like this. You got to wave one of your hands, and we're going to do some magic here. So we got to change that letter. Oh, look at that. The E changed to an F. Keep doing the magic. Keep it going, keep it going. There we go. Now we got an I, all right? And we're going to change the B to an R, and we're going to move some things around. Oh, yeah. You folks are awesome. See, college is not the best 4 years of your life. It's the what?
The first.
It's the first. Think about why. Think about why. I think it's the first time that students, right, who are, you know, teenagers coming to college, starting to make decisions on their own if they haven't already, but they're now fully accountable for their world, fully responsible. You get to make decisions that impact everybody around you, and it's not just in your house and in your own life, right? But this is the chance where you get to decide and define who you are, what's most important to you. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? What do you want to give back from the world? What do you need from the world? You start making all these really big choices. And that's the power of an orientation leader, is you get to create the first impact with first-year students, knowing that this is the next 4 years. I'm reading the wrong word. The next 4 years, right? It's the first 4 years. It's not the best, but the first. So you get to make that impact. You're essentially a community builder, and you know that. But I have to say that today, otherwise Chris wouldn't like it. You're a community builder. You're not an icebreaker, by the way. None of that. No, we're not doing icebreakers. We're building community, right? Your purpose is to increase engagement, and yes, at the same time, recruitment, morale, communication, and retention. And I know that's scary, and I know that's overwhelming, and I know that might be frustrating. How do I do that in this way? But that's our job, and you have a very big and important job right now. So hats off to you, or hair off to you. Right? Not only are you working to increase engagement for them students, but recruitment, morale, communication, and retention. Oh, by the way, quick tip if you're like, I didn't get a chance to unmute myself beforehand. If you're in the Zoom app and you press the space bar, that will unmute you so you can speak real quick, and then when you let it go, you're back on mute. Pretty cool, right? Test that right now and say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That works, I love it.
That's
Love
so
it.
cool. I never knew that.
I know. I've been using Zoom since 2013. I'm still learning stuff every week. All right, so here's the big kicker. The experience is not great because of you. It's great because it's an experience. So I know a lot of you are going to have questions about this experience and how we're making it engaging and all that. Just remember, it's not about you as the orientation leader. It's about the experience that you're creating for other people. Make orientation a want to, not a have to. You stood up not because I told you to, but because you wanted to in some sense, and say, hey, how do I make this different and unique for myself? So we've got to understand about the people we're trying to create that experience with. First, you got to solve a maze. You have 5 seconds. Go. All right, time's up. It's impossible. You can't do it. But there's 2 schools of thought here. Some of you make some noise if you immediately recognize there's no way out. Make some noise.
Yeah.
It's a cheat.
Yeah.
Yep. I physically used Microsoft Paint back in the day and filled in the exit. That's right. Now, there's another group of people who are in the maze right now trying to figure it out. They're like, I'm going to accomplish this. I'm going to do this. Make some noise if that's you.
Ooh.
Now, no matter how much time you invest in this, you're only getting out the way you came in. That's because, as any great leader knows, they need to have a vision for where they're going with their lives, for the creation of the O groups and the orientation experience that you're building. You got to have that vision for where you're going. Otherwise, all the twists and turns, all the decisions that you're making, none of them matter. Just as in life, it does over the next 7 to 10 weeks as we build this experience. So you got to know, what's the way out? Where are we going? What's the vision? So leadership starts with your what?
Vision.
Head like this, near your eyes, as if you're looking forward, and say vision on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Vision.
Right? So we got to start there. And to do that, I'm actually going to have you put your stuff down and stand up, and I'm going to demonstrate how important it is to set up that vision. So notice I just gave you the trigger to have you stand up so you can get ready to stand up. And that's what you're going to want to do as you create your experiences. So this one is called the finger point. So as you put your stuff down, stand up, make sure you've got arm's length all the way around you. All right, you're not going to hit anything or anyone if someone's coming into that room. And what I want you to do is put your feet about shoulder width apart so that you feel comfortable in your space and where you are. If you are unable to stand, this also does work in a chair, just doesn't work as well because maybe your chair's against the wall, you got a desk that you're working around. But do it to the best of your ability, wherever you are, however you're doing it. If you are able to stand, please stand. All right, now I'm going to show you what we'll do and then we'll do it together. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to raise your right arm, and I do want you to just wave with your right arm right now so I can see we all got the right one because we did this whole thing wrong. All right, we got the right arm. All right, awesome. As we get ready, I got to ask you a question. Do you want to do this the fun way or the boring way?
Fun way.
Fun way.
Fun.
That way.
Unmuted everybody, although I can't control all of your screens. So here I see some of you popping in. Awesome, cool. So I'll show you how we do it and then we do it together. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to raise your right arm. It'll look and sound like this. And you'll simply point with your right arm forward. Now, without moving your feet, you're going to turn to the right as far as you can. So it'll look and sound like this. Whoosh. You're going to turn your body without moving your feet as far as you can to the right. So you got to be kind of flexible and stretchy. And then lock in your vision to what you're looking at. Call it out loud. So I'll ask you to call it out loud. We'll do everything together. And then you'll come back and you'll clap. Is that easy? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Now, though, again, fun. You said fun way, not the boring way. For the fun way, we have to get prepared. We have to get ready. Right, so we don't break any of the rules. I want you to pull out the drills that you have in your pocket. Just pretend. Have imaginary drills. Hold them up in the air. You've got little hand drills. Make sure they work. Go. Perfect. On the count of three, I want you to drill your feet into the ground. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3, go.
Wait 1 second.
All of a sudden, we just saw everyone disappear.
I think so.
Now, because we're continuing to do this the fun way and we got to be flexible, there are pins you have in your hips. I need you to pull those pins out so that you can be flexible. That looks and sounds like this. So pull those pins out. Do that now.
Isn't the final cure?
Love that. Right, and last thing, just to make sure you're with me, grab your ears like this and everyone go whoop, 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 whoop.
I might fly away though.
I only did that because this is being recorded. That's all. All right.
Wow.
So on the count of three, raise your right arm with those sound effects. Ready? 1, 2, 3 together. Now I want you to turn to the right as far as you can. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, call it out loud.
Whoa.
Oh.
Oven done.
Come back and clap.
It's a jog.
All right, come back and clap. Yes. All right, love it. Now, with your energy balanced, I want you to close your eyes. I can't make you do this, but I'm going to request that you do this. And if you don't close them, by the way, I can see all your videos. I can see you. All right, so close your eyes right now. I want you to simply imagine this process. So imagine, visualize yourself standing there. Visualize where your feet are. Visualize the flexibility. Visualize yourself raising your right arm. So don't do it, but see it. Visualize yourself turn to the right where you just did right now. And call that point out loud again. Go ahead, do that now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now, what greatest leaders do is they see the future. They see that vision. They create that vision. What I want you to do is create a vision of not where you went, but where you want to go. So imagine yourself. You're using your mind, and what's possible in your mind?
Anything.
Anything. Everything. I want you to imagine stretching another inch. Set that vision an inch beyond. Stretch it 2 inches beyond, maybe 3 inches beyond where you just were. Imagine yourself going 6 inches, maybe a whole foot further. Imagine yourself going 1.5 feet further. You're going super far beyond that because you've got that vision, and in your mind, anything is possible. So as you see that, I want you to say, oh yeah, on the count of 3 when you're thinking about that new point. 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
Right. Now open your eyes. Using the power of your what?
Mind.
And your vision. I want you to stretch past that first point and get to that new point. On the count of 3, we're going to raise our arms with those sound effects once again. 1, 2, 3. Now turn to the new point past your first point. 1, 2, 3, go. Because you can go another inch. Oh. Now to do 2 more inches just because I'm asking. Okay. All right, come back and clap.
That's where my vision's gonna take me.
You went further that second time when I asked you. Put your hand up and say, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
If you went further when I said, "Go 1 more inch," the third time now, put your hand up and say, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
And further the 4th time when I said, "Go 2 more inches just because I'm asking," put your hand up, say, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
Interesting. As I'm watching the 30 people on my screen right now that I can see, 40. Could you have gone that far the first time, yes or yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Why didn't you? Start thinking about what stopped you when the directions were go as far as you can. Right? Those are the directions the first time. And the second time was go further than you said you could go the first time. So why didn't you? Why didn't you go that far?
I didn't have something specific that I was reaching for.
Didn't have something you were specific that you were reaching for. I love that. Thank you, Alex, for sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
What else?
My back hurt.
Know how flexible I was.
I heard my back hurt. Absolutely, right? There are physical limitations, especially if we're not stretching.
Yeah.
Or maybe we gave into something. I know I've done that before, where I've given into, it doesn't feel that comfortable. Who said they didn't feel comfortable? Who's thinking I went as far as I thought I could?
Yeah.
Who's thinking I just didn't really try all that much? Yeah. So be honest, are these reasons or excuses?
Excuses.
Right, so here's what a great leader does. And when I say great leader, I'm talking about you, orientation leader. I'm talking about you as a student leader. I'm talking about you in the organizations you're a part of. I'm talking about you as an older sibling. I'm talking you as a parent. I'm talking to you as a child. You lead in so many different areas of your life. Right now, it just happens to be focused on orientation. But what a great leader does is they see themselves not where they are or where they believe they might be able to get to, but they have an ambition. They set a vision, right? That's what I want you to be able to do. You have to be able to see past COVID-19. You have to be able to see past, we're stuck on video and we can't do this. Well, look at what we're able to do right now. We've got almost 60 people in this room. Yeah, we've got about 60 people in this room right now, 62. And most of y'all just went through the finger point, and how many of you went further that second and third and fourth time say, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
All right, by the way, this was another demonstration, just a trick. I said, say, "Oh yeah," and how many of you raised your hand because I did?
Oh
Yeah.
You tell them to do. They'll do what you ask them to do, as long as you do it like you're in charge. You're not in control, you're just in charge. And you'll stand up as long as I haven't told you to sit down yet. So go ahead, have a seat, feeling good.
For many generations, our ranch has been a landmark on the north end of the valley, greeting travelers to the paradise among the mountains.
All right, love it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put everyone back on mute just for the time being. You still have the ability to unmute yourself. I just want to kill out any of the background noise. So this is an activity that we call the finger point. Please share it, steal it, use it, maybe on your first or second session to get students to think about their vision and where they want to go. Because leadership starts with your what? Your vision. I know you're saying it and you're muted. Don't worry about it. Continue to participate. So we have to focus on the vision for the culture that we're now creating. We're just doing it in a different way, right? I want you to use culture as your lens for how you see everything. What's the culture of this room in here? You said it's high energy, it's interactive. You said there's passion. You said all of this stuff. You said there's music. There's a culture we're creating. So what culture do you want to create for the students? In order to create that culture, we have to think about how you feel right now and how they're feeling right now. So we're going to go in the breakout rooms for 5 minutes. And this should work. Again, I figured out why it didn't work before, because when I set up the breakout rooms, it was set up before everybody was in here. So, hey, we learn as we go through, we learn as we do. So we're gonna open up to breakout rooms, and the question is, how do you feel right now? Just take a moment to think about it for yourself before I open those rooms. How do you feel right now with COVID-19, the stay-at-home orders? We may open, we may not open. If we open, are we gonna feel safe? With everything going on in the world, I want you to hear from other people who are in the same town, in a different state, in a different home, in a different place they didn't expect to. Because all of the first-year students you'll be supporting are feeling similar ways as you are right now. And in order for us to connect with them, to empathize with them, we have to know where they're at. So I'm going to open the breakout room. We'll do this for 2 or 3 minutes. This is a quick, simple conversation. Just share where you're at. How do you feel right now? So I'm going to open those rooms. Here we go. Yvonne, do you want me to assign you to a room? You can shake your head up and down or nod at left and no.
I'm okay.
All right. Everybody else should be popping in. I see Emily Dunn is still in the room. Jess is still in the room. And I think, so Chris, I am figuring this out. I think that's either on their end because they're not currently participating right now with either their video or their microphone, or we're just figuring out, hey, how come some people aren't going? But there's Chris. We got Jess Whitmore is still in the room here. That's okay. I'm not saying anything secret that Jess can't hear.
So what was, I lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I saw your screen go black.
Yeah.
The only person that we've got, you can see still in this room is Jess Whitmore. Yvonne and I have been talking, but I don't know why I can't send Jess to a room right now. She has been assigned a room. Oh, there she goes. All right. She might have just had her video or microphone on mute for whatever reason.
Yep. Yep.
All right, Chris, how are we doing so far?
I think we're doing fine. I mean, I was actually dropped into one of the groups, so and it was all rookies. So we were just talking a little bit about it. I think that the challenge still, we have no context right now for how this is going to all fit together, and I think that's the hardest part. And they're looking for that answer right now of, okay, well, how am I going to make that happen? And so we just need to give them some assurance that we'll get there. We'll figure that out. We have some time to work on that. But can you see some of the basics here? Start thinking about this. I think that the challenge also is having them be willing to take the risks that you're willing to take as a seasoned presenter, to engage the group. And I think that that's the piece that sometimes they lack, is just the courage to try it out and see if it's going to work, and finding things that actually they're comfortable doing. I think that's the other piece. And I don't know how you get them past that of, okay, I'm just going to open the thing and then I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to them and they're all going to sit and listen to me and then we're going to have a good time. And I think that they need to do more planning in this type of environment as to things they may try to engage those students and think about it in different ways. I think that's going to be the challenge.
I appreciate that, and I love that you're sharing that. So whether that comes up, I don't know if you're making a personal note for yourself, whether that comes up throughout the week as they kind of debrief this and do some planning, let's make sure we bring that up towards the end as they put together an action plan for how they're going to approach this and encourage each other to work together, to take those risks, to try things out, and know that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if it doesn't work. We had a glitch already, right? We set up all the breakout rooms as soon as we started, and then 42 people were not assigned a room, even though it was a random assignment. So I'm in charge. I'm not in control.
Right. No, we've had that happen before also, and it's tough also because I've done so many of these types of things. Working with groups, I don't think the same way that. I mean, Sophia's a good example. Sophia's a transfer student, and it sounds like she never had an orientation program that was a community-based program. So she doesn't even have a context for what it's been like
Right.
and then figure out what it ought to be like. And so I think that she's, going, well, gosh, how am I going to do this? And I think in some ways it's always about them, figuring out that piece about how to engage others. And that's not something they've ever had. If you've never had to run a meeting, you've never had to think about that. Somebody's always done it to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, the rooms are closing. Everyone's starting to come back in. Isn't it nice? You don't even have to go anywhere. The logistics are so easy. We closed the rooms and within 12 seconds, 36 people popped back into this room.
It's nice if you have like short-term memory like I do. Like I typically forget what I'd say, but like because you don't have to walk anywhere, it's all right here. It's pretty great.
Absolutely. All right, so once we hit that 62 number, we'll have everybody back here, but the rooms close automatically. So there we go. So we're starting to ask the question about, let me go back, about how you feel right now, whether it's sad, whether it's overwhelmed, whether it's overloaded, whether it's underwhelmed, right? Because you don't know what you're supposed to do. Maybe it's confused. We don't know if we're going to open. Whatever those feelings that you have that you're sharing with those groups, the students who are coming in, they're feeling the same way, right? So using that information, we have to set that vision. So here's the vision question: is what is your vision, right? So what's your vision? What's the end goal for O-group engagement? Not just the O-group, getting people engaged so they want to be a part of it. What kind of culture do you want to create? Take 30 seconds. Think about that right now. What's your vision? So now that you're starting to think about your vision and where you want to go with it, we're going to go back into breakout rooms and start sharing so you can build a collaborative vision. It doesn't have to be all on you. Chris and I were just talking about how you should take some risks right now. Try something new and different. Try to get people engaged in a way that might be uncomfortable for you, but maybe they need that, right? So when you have people stand up, maybe you're like, yeah, I just want to sit down, Joe. I'm just not feeling it today. Well, maybe the person on the other end needed that. Maybe that was a virtual hug, so to speak, right? So start sharing a couple ideas. Just take 2 or 3 minutes. We'll go back to those groups and everyone share their best idea. And I hope you're taking notes so that you can start setting the vision for where we want to go and the experience that we're creating for everybody. So we're going to pop back out into those breakout rooms in 5, 4, 3, 2. How do you want them to feel? All right, Yvonne, it's just me and you.
One of the challenges of not being as old as some of my colleagues is that I always look like a student. And
That's okay. That's okay. I stopped screen sharing. Don't think something broke. I did that on purpose.
I was just worried that I was still unmuted when my dog started going crazy, but I don't know if you can hear him.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, so we'll come back, have a brief conversation. I'm just looking at how much time because I want to make sure we get to a break somewhere around 2. Now I heard the dog.
Oh, man.
That's okay. I don't even know where my dog is right now. I hope hanging out with my kids.
Every time he sees a delivery truck or a square looking truck that could maybe hold some delivery items, he goes crazy, or another dog or a horse.
Yeah. Yeah, my dog, if a tree blows the wrong way, starts barking.
Our dog is a rescue, and so believe it or not, all of this. He gets 2 adult doses of Prozac and Valium a day, and then also some calming treats. And so despite all that, he's still pretty high anxiety. He sees a dog psychiatrist. I didn't know that was a thing until recently.
Wow, I had no idea.
So he's coming along, I guess.
Do you have music on in the background? Is that you?
My bonus kid is watching The Little Mermaid, so that might be what you hear.
Okay, let me listen.
She says yes, that's her.
Love that. Did you say bonus kid?
Yeah, so Ellie is our neighbor, and she has stayed with us pretty frequently for, I don't know, the last few years, but when the quarantine began, she moved in. And so we've been doing a little bit of homeschooling and a little bit of TikTok dances and a little bit of everything. So
sure.
It's people get a little confused when you say like, oh, well, my 12-year-old at home, and they know you don't have children, especially not old enough to be 12. And
right.
So we go with bonus kid. It answers the question.
There you go. And brings up more questions.
It does, yep. So we have a
I
good
love
time.
it.
She's learning a little bit about orientation and matriculation and enrollment numbers, and otherwise eating her weight around the noodles. So
Let's see. So I got a note. My colleague Jason said, we're losing part of your demonstration because you're not on Spotlight. I don't know who is. How do I respond to him? Have you seen me the majority of the time?
yeah, the only time I would say that we've had this issue in other experiences is when we do breakout rooms. If the feature is engaged that follows the speaker, sometimes we've had that issue, but otherwise I can't really say what that would be the problem. I've seen you the whole time.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's bring them back. Breakout rooms, close. We'll take 2 or 3 questions and we'll move into the next section here. All right, we're coming back.
Hey.
With a passion. All right, so we've been asking the question, how do you want new students to feel? What's the vision? What's the experience that we want to create? And I know we're still having people come back in, and that's cool, but let's get that conversation going. You can either use the chat box or you can wave me down and say, hey.
Hey, I'm gonna be brave and do it.
Oh, love it. Be brave.
I really want my students to feel a sense of being welcomed and invited into a Marauder family versus just being a single student, because they're not getting the closure. They don't get the graduation. They don't get the prom. We might as well make them feel part of the family like we did. And we do that here. That's one thing I'm so happy to say about Millersville is we do that. Even like alumni who don't even know if you're going to go there. My art teacher was like, you're going to Millersville. I know you are going to Millersville. It's like, it's fine. You're going to be a Marauder like me. It's going to be a thing. And like just the idea that you're able to like a whole nother family coming to school is so special. And not only is it special, but you feel safe. You have people to rely on. You have people who you can go to when you're struggling. Like my OL leader isn't here, and she was great. And I was like, if I could be half as great as her, it would be amazing. So I was like, and I gave her a hard time too. So like, I'm just happy like and that I can get this opportunity to kind of return a favor that she gave me. She gave me such a sense of feeling safe and being like really happy to go to college. I was terrified. Me and my roommate cried a lot together, and we were in the same OL group, so we wiped our tears together, and we went to the next orientation together. And it's just good to be able to provide that. And I just want my students to feel safe, happy, and most importantly, healthy and prepared to walk. Because I'm ready for us to go back to campus. Like I want it to happen, but you know what? I'm gonna have to be prepared for it to be online. But we're gonna make the best of it. I feel like this is just kind of how it's gonna have to be, and we're gonna just do the best that we all can because we're all great, and we wouldn't have been chosen for this if we're not the great people that the OL team chose us to be.
Love it.
Cassandra, that was so motivating. I loved it. I want you to wake me up every morning and just give me a speech. That was great. I agree completely, especially preparing them for a walk. Can we just give her a hand real quick? Great.
If I could wake myself up like that, it would be really great too.
Love it. And that's the role of a leader, right? Not only do you have to take care of yourself, but you've got to do that for others as well. So I love that. And Cassandra, I love first that you said, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to jump in. That's all it takes is that first, maybe even that second participant. For a question I asked earlier, you may have seen Alex Kohler. She's wearing a blue shirt like this. We at CE know if it's going to be quiet, someone's going to have to step up and answer that question, which makes it easier for someone else to answer, right? So as we continue to think, how do we get people engaged? Maybe you ask someone specifically. I sent Alex a text before we got started. I said, hey, I might need you to fill in or ask a question or pop in. And we've been doing this for weeks. So we're prepared for this moment where, what if nobody says anything? Don't worry, we have something to say. We have plenty of things to be that first volunteer. But Cassandra, I love how you just jumped in, took that risk. That's what it's going to take right now. We got to be that leader, be the director, take that risk. So thank you. You deserve that round of applause.
Thank you.
Love it. I see some other stuff in there. Kate, what's popping up? What's happening in the chat box?
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Lots of chat. Phoebe says, and there is some issue with confidentiality with this, but I'm sure we could work it out in some way. But kind of making something more personalized and talking about, she said, writing handwritten letters to my students to get to know them and give them something physical to feel them welcome into Millersville University. So I know admissions does write handwritten kind of like postcards that we do send out to admitted students as well to welcome them to the Marauder family. But I do also think that personalization thing that could also work through email in some way.
I was thinking with that. I just feel like if we're in the situation where we might not get to meet them in person for the first semester, you know, a lot of people really look forward to receiving something that's personalized to them. And even like the letters from admissions and stuff, like you feel like you're getting a lot of mail from Millersville that you know everybody else who's a freshman is getting. And just getting something personal from your OL, kind of introducing yourself, you get to see like a handwritten note. I just really like stuff like that. I didn't realize that sending them something to their address would be a confidentiality issue. But you know, I was just kind of thinking, and everyone in my breakout room was saying that they like stuff like that and it would be a really great idea. But obviously if we can't, then we can't, but that's kind of what I was thinking.
I know I definitely got a letter from Sabra on my freshman year. It was a handwritten letter from her.
Yeah, that's a couple people in the breakout room had also said that they received handwritten letters from their OLs their freshman year as well. So that's why I kind of figured that something to look into, just because, you know, if we have to do our activities and meetings on Zoom, I still want them to have something that kind of feels like I got something personal, I got something physical, and I'm connected with my orientation leader.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, no, in the chat when I said there was a possible concern, I didn't mean to shoot down the idea at all. That was just my strategic mind being like, oh no, there's like a SOS, like confidentiality thing with student information. But it's been done in the past, and obviously new and creative, like out of the box ideas are exactly what we need right now. So thank you so much for your suggestion. And we can look into maybe how to implement it. Like maybe the OLs write them and then they send them to us and then we send them out.
Mm-hmm.
So that like addresses are never shared, or maybe something
right,
like
right.
that. So thank you. OPC will consider the possibility of that and we will get back to you.
Yeah, I think Mamie's talking about, Mamie, are you talking about FERPA? Or the law about the
well, I just know like in admissions we're very strict about even student names being shared,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So that was just my past trainings, like coming back in my mind.
That's what I was thinking. I was just wondering if you were doing the same thing. No, I like the idea though, and like Mamie said, definitely considering it and like adapt to it. I definitely like that idea, whether it's a letter or something like that. And just going off of that, some other people are saying, Katie Daughtry, sorry if I butchered her last name. I'm sorry. Maybe we can send a personalized video via email. So that's cool. I like that idea. And then also, Kara Keck said, I think it would be cool to do a virtual tour for my students on Zoom if we do not make it back to campus in the fall. That way, when the students do come back, there's a sense of normalcy and they'll get to know more about campus, since one of my favorite parts of orientation was having my O leader give us a tour. And then one more, Katie Smith says, I want my students to feel heard, giving them the opportunity and comfort to able to ask questions and get a genuine answer from me. Oh, genuinity. I can't say that word, but it's so important. I plan to create an anonymous form as well, Google Forms, etc., where if they don't feel comfortable attaching their name to the question, they can still ask it and get an answer. Katie, that is awesome.
All ideas are good ideas.
Yeah. Miranda also, I'll add this in, making the students feel like the online sessions can be a place to relax and decompress as well as have a fun time. Avoid from making the training feel forced.
Love that. So you know what, let's tag on to that one right now, as we've got 61, 62 people in here. Not forcing anything. Do this if you want to, but raise your hands and make some visual noise if you feel like this is a comfortable and easygoing and relaxed atmosphere right now.
Woo! Woo!
Seeing lots of that. So think about how we've created this, because it's not just me, right? If you don't want to participate, you're not going to, but it's how we've all co-created this experience here. Think about how we've done that so that you can, again, it's all a demonstration today. How can you do that for them? Now, luckily, you only have to do it in 45 to 60 minutes, right? I've got to keep you engaged through the entirety of a 4-hour half-day session. And so knowing that that is my job, that's what we're going to do. So let's move right into the skill set, right? So first you've got to have the mindset, right? We got to have the vision. We got to understand where people are coming from. We've got to understand, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? And then what's the vision that we have for how we want them to feel? What do we want them to think about? How can we guide them, direct them, support them? Now you need the skill set to do so. So we're going to play a little game. It's called Grow Longer. What do you think we're going to do? Make things grow longer. So watch this. Put your stuff down. I would just want you to hold your hands out. You don't even have to stand up. Don't worry about it. Just hold your hands up like this. And if you take a look, you'll see right here, there's a line at the bottom of your wrist. I want you to line up those two lines, just like so. Roll your hands together and bring them together so your fingers touch. And then take a look and you'll see one of your hands might be taller than the other. You'll see mine right here is the right one. It's taller. You may recognize that, nope, you don't have that problem. You're perfect. We all want to be like you. But some of you might realize, oh, one hand is bigger than the other. So if you're feeling sad that one hand is not as big, I want you to hold that smaller hand out in front of you. If your hands are perfect, I want you to just pick a hand. It doesn't matter. And we're going to do some magic. Again, second part of the magic show in here today. So I want you to look at the hand that was smaller, and I want you to look at it, and I want you to focus. Forget me. Look at your hand. Don't look at the screen. Look at what?
Your hand.
And I want you to look at your hand, and you're going to use some ridiculous language, but doesn't all magic sound ridiculous? I want you to look at your hand and say, grow longer.
Grow longer.
Again, this only works if you really mean it. Grow longer.
Grow longer.
Magic only works if you believe it. So say it again with intention. Grow longer.
Grow
longer.
I believe in you, hand.
I believe in you, hand. I really do.
Hand.
Okay, grow longer.
Grow
longer.
Please grow longer.
All right, now before this gets out of hand, shake your hands out. See the magic happen. All right, take those wrist lines, line them up again. Slowly roll your hands together and see what happened. I'm hearing some noise. Make some visual noise or actual noise if your hand grew longer.
What?
Crazy. What? That's
That is
crazy.
literally
Don't
insane.
make any sense.
I'm looking at half of you right now. I want to look at the other half of you.
Wait,
I
hold
can
up.
see it on your faces. You're like, what the just happened, right? You did magic. You did magic. No, you didn't really do magic. You just convinced yourself to look at life in a different way. That's all that happened. And if you want to fix that later, you just go back, and you could do this at any point. We're going to take a break shortly. You can look at that hand and say, get back to normal. Please get back to, I urge you to get back to normal. It'll be fine. We're not going to do that right now. The point is this. You experience the world the way you think about it. So if you think your hand is going to be taller, grow longer, if you really put your heart, your mind, your soul into believing that, it's going to be true for you. Whatever you believe is true for you. So we have to build a skill set around the world that we have right now. And we've got to focus on not content, but context. Everyone say context.
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 So there's great debate, right? We're going to pour some water into this class. That's the content. You've got to deliver content over these course of 7 weeks and then beyond. But everyone's going to receive those differently. Everyone's got a different glass that they're receiving. They might have had a really bad day. They might be sick. They might know somebody who's sick that day. We all have a different way that we are receiving this information. That's why it's not the content that we're pouring in, but the context in the way that we're receiving it. For example, how would you respond when I say man killed dog?
Oof.
I'd be sad.
Be sad.
So it's like, it's not a good story. That's sad. I'm not happy about that. And I heard some oof sound effects. Right? Let me add context, not changing the content, but context to the story. Man killed dog attacking baby.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Wait. Wait.
It's almost more
You still
unfortunate.
don't have to kill the
I'd
dog.
still be sad.
Who's
But
baby?
if he's
Yeah.
dead, then
While
Different-
attacking
No,
baby.
no, no.
There's no
Right?
commas.
See, now look at all the conversation that's sparked, right? Think about that, just with context. Now I got one more bit of information that you need to hear when you read this article. It says, man killed dog attacking baby, baby started it.
Screw the baby.
Yeah.
Right? Context
An adult
changes the way we receive, right? So the brutal reality is, forget the content, forget all the words and things that you want to say and what you want to deliver. We have to focus on what?
Context.
Context. And Sarah is blaming the baby either way. So is Joshua. All right. So here's the context. Everyone's listening to a radio station right now. We're all listening to the same radio station, except it's all a different station. How is that? What's in it for me? WIIFM, what's in it for me? That's what we all want to know as we go through life. We're all listening to the same station, yet we're all receiving different information. So how do we adapt to that? It's not about the agenda. It's about the relationship. It's about the context, the experience that you're building, that you're creating, right? So I want to give you some what we call debriefing magic. Our CE team has heard this, and I want to continue to reinforce this for them as we continue to adapt around the world around us. Adapt to the world around us. So you want to validate, evaluate, and extrapolate. So if you are taking notes, whether it's in your mind, on paper, or digitally, this is what you want to write down. Why? Because you need to be able to take whatever people on these video calls are throwing at you and work with it. And I've already shared a little bit of this, and you've already seen it happen. So validate, evaluate, extrapolate. Go ahead, say it. Everyone say validate. I can say
Validate.
Evaluate.
Evaluate.
Extrapolate.
Extrapolate.
How many of you are using that space bar? Say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
No.
You want to validate the response. That means don't make them wrong. However they're feeling, whatever political side, because you've noticed there's a lot of politics going on right now, and people they're using this. Or you're trying to stray away from it, but the politics, it's happening. So whatever's going on, validate it. Validate the fact that they're participating, the fact that they have something to say. It doesn't matter. Find a way to agree with something. I just love that you're sharing. Thank you so much for being the first volunteer. Your answer was absolutely stupid, but I love that you're sharing. Don't say that other part. Just appreciate that they're sharing, right? That's what you want right now. You want them to share their feelings so they feel it's an open, comfortable space. Then you want to help them evaluate it. What does it mean? What does it mean to them? What does it mean to the entire group? So you want to evaluate the information that you're getting, but really help them evaluate it. And then lastly, extrapolate. So you want to pull from this insights and actions. So for instance, again, you've seen me do this demonstrating all day long, right? Validate. So I appreciate that you're sharing. Let me put you on Spotlight and then talk to me a little bit more about your question. And they now start evaluating the question and the answer. There were a few questions I did not answer, but you did, right? I don't have to have all the answers. You don't either. If you validate, evaluate, and then extrapolate, pull insights, and then maybe actions from it so they can do something with it. That's the debriefing magic. That's the third time we've done magic in this experience, but make sure you write that down. The first one's validate. Say validate.
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 Evaluate.
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 Extrapolate.
Extrapolate.
Love it. So again, remember, the experience is not great because of you. It's great because it's a what?
Experience.
Get an experience. Well, first, you still have to be you. Don't do it just the way I'm going to do it. Don't do it the way Kate's going to do it or Chris is going to do it. You've got to be you. You've got to be your authentic, genuine, personal self and put yourself into this model. So this is the model that goes against standard practice. If you're like, wow, this is really energetic. This is fun. This is cool. I can engage in this. How did you do that? I'm going to give you the model right here, right now. And we're going to go through it a couple times throughout the rest of the afternoon. So the first is learn, then say, then do, then reflect. It's really that simple. And I'm going to take you through it over the next couple of minutes and we'll debrief. So the first is learn. Unmute yourself. Say learn.
Learn.
That you're saying it like that, even though I didn't tell you to. Again, right? Say.
Say.
Do.
Do.
Reflect.
This is the really simple model that we put into every one of our shows and seminars, conferences, retreats, you name it. There's a lot of different ways that people can learn. That's the easy part. Concepts, statistics, pictures, graphics, questions, metaphors, stories, quotes, videos, music, humor, cause, effect, personal relevance, perspective, tapping into personal motivations. That's how people learn stuff. That's easy. And any person who delivers a lecture can do that. But then what you'll notice we've done today is say. This is callbacks for clarification. This is using journaling for self-reflection. This is having small group shares for making sense of ideas, and then large group shares for examples. Everything that we have done today. So a callback is when I say, everyone say.
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 Back. You're asking them to call it back to you. So use that to your advantage. Then you've got journaling for self-reflection. How many times have I reminded you? Yeah, make some notes. Go ahead, write this down for yourself, or think about your personal vision for what you want the O groups to look like, right? You're taking that time to journal either in your mind or on paper. Then small groups for sharing. That's how we have the breakout rooms here. And then large groups, as we come back from the breakouts, what did you learn? What did you hear? What do you want to share? And we have that as examples for the entire group. Right, so that immediately becomes a transformative experience for what they're going through. You have learn, then say. The next piece is do, right? So you're creating spectacle and wow moments. We've already done 3 of those, right? You stood up, we stretched. Maybe that wasn't a wow moment, but it was a spectacle. You remember, wow, this bald guy asked me to stand up and stretch during a webinar. That's how you know it's not a webinar, right? Creating wow moments. When you stretched, and you went further the second, third, and fourth time, you're like, wow. When your hand just grew on a Zoom meeting, that's a wow moment, right? You're engaging the senses and emotions through exercises, games, role play, simulation, brainstorming. We do all this stuff on stage and now online. Nothing's different. But the last piece and what's most important here is reflect. Because if you learn something, if you then say it in many different ways, if you then do it and you fail and you don't reflect on why you fail, there's no lesson, the lesson's gone. So we have to reflect. You can review, analyze, I don't care, rationalize, synthesize, pull it all together, right? I love words that rhyme. With yourself, with partners, You can do it in teams to reinforce the learning. So what did we just learn? Let's talk about what we just learned. Let's connect it to prior experiences. Here's how what I learned last year as an orientation leader is going to help me this year. And then turning insights into action. All right, now what are we going to do about it? Because if you don't do anything about it, what's going to happen? Nothing.
You're going to do it again.
Yeah, you make the same mistake again, right? So this is the model. When you say, Joe, how are we going to apply, and create engagement? This is the model. We'll come back to it several times, and then we'll build an action plan around this model. It's learn, say, do, reflect. Unmute yourself. Everybody say learn.
Learn.
Say.
Learn.
Say.
Do.
Reflect.
So with that in mind, how will you apply what we call the LSDR model? Remember, you got to have the reflect on there, otherwise it's the LSD model, and that's not what we're doing. That's something different. How will you apply the LSDR model? We'll do this, we'll do a breakout, and then we'll come back in a couple of minutes. We'll do a quick chat, and then we'll take our first break of the day. So keep the energy up, keep the energy high. We're going to go into breakout rooms in 10 seconds, and you're going to ask the question, how will you apply the learn, say, do, reflect model? So take a look at it, take a screenshot of it, take some notes, but it's really easy to remember. Learn, say, do, reflect. Just think about what learn is. What are the different ways that people can learn all that information that you've got to dump into them over 7 weeks, right? It's easy. You could show them a graph, you could show them a chart, you could share with them a quote, or you could just tell them. That's easy. Say, how do we get people talking about this in different ways? One-on-one, small groups, large groups. Then do, is there something that we can physically do to get people engaged? Whether they're giving virtual high fives, whether they're giving high fives to everybody else in their house, running around, just getting some energy, right? And then how do we reflect? What's something that we could do to make sure that it sinks in and they can use it? So think about what we're doing right now. We are combining reflect and say at the same time. So breakout rooms, let's do it. See you when you get back. Yvonne, you're stuck with me again.
Just hanging out. Chris is on mute. I can't hear you.
Is there a way that we might be able to, after the break, have them go to different breakout rooms, do a reassignment?
That's a super duper question. I honestly, I don't even know if they're going to the same groups right now.
They are.
They are? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm in room 11 and I keep going back to room 11.
Okay. So how about this? So that'll be the first half. The second half, I will see if I can cancel the rooms and restart the rooms.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea that they're going back because they already have a rapport with those people, but I also agree with you. How do we make it that they're connecting with more people? Love that.
Yeah, and I think it's been helpful because the 4 that are in there, again, are all rookies. And so they've had a chance to have a good conversation. Actually, I think a 5th one joined them. Jelly came in. So, but I think now it might be helpful then to switch them up and see, now they get a chance to talk to somebody else.
Sure. And you know what? I'm going to create a visual slide as a memory, not a memory, a reminder for that. You can see all my slide sorter view, right? All right, there we go. We got it. So we're a couple minutes behind where we wanted to be, but we'll catch up. I love the reason we're behind is engagement. Remember that first breakout room, that first question, we had 8 or 9 questions. I want to do my best to answer all of them. That's more important. Again, the relationship more important than the agenda. That's not what's on their mind. I'll adjust when we take our first break. I will adjust what we're doing.
Right.
Love it. Yeah, you keep going on mute. That's right. See you walk away. Give them about 2 more minutes so they can have a really good conversation about this, because they're going to use this later. Yeah, we'll make up time in the next sections. That's fine. We're good. Beautiful. All right, let's bring them on back. Welcome back. Coming back in as we round out the first part of our day together. So glad to see you. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for sticking with us.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. All right, so any thoughts on how you'd like to start applying this? Again, we're going to take more time in the second half to continue on this journey, but I want to at least start planting the seeds, right? So you plant the seed, you got to make sure it's in good soil, you got to have a good foundation. That's what we're doing right now. Then you got to add water to it. Then you got to make sure it's got sunlight, it's got the right oxygen, it can't be too compressed. So we're planting seeds. We're going to continue to come back and take care of these seeds. But what's going on in your mind right now for how you can apply some pieces to the learn, say, do, reflect model? Who wants to share, make some visual or verbal noise?
Hi.
Sophia.
Something that I did like way back in high school that I think would apply for say or do is that when you're like working on an experience and like explaining something, if someone else can share in that experience, like do like a hand sign or a gesture, so that way you know someone shares in that way without like the other person feeling interrupted, or like there's a sense of participation without cutting anybody off. So I think like when you're educating or you're teaching someone about something, and like say everyone works in the art department and all the art majors can be like, oh yeah, I'm right here. So I think that is a way to like kind of coagulate everyone together.
Yeah. If you are, I know we're popping back and forth between different kind of views and different kind of experiences, but if you go to gallery view right now, where you can see everybody right up on your screen, there is a function at the bottom of your Zoom menu. Jason just showed it. Jason's going to show it again. So if you're looking at Jason, you can click reactions and you can give a thumbs up right there. You can give a digital reaction. I see some of you have picked that up pretty quickly. There's also an applause. If you wanted, there's the applause, Sophia. You could also do finger snaps. It's a quiet but real human gesture. I've seen that work a lot as well. I love that, Sophia. Thank you for sharing. Other thoughts? Who's going to be second to jump in?
I'll go. Sarah.
Go ahead, Sarah. I found you.
One that I thought was super important was the do step. And I feel that way because like when I think of do and action, I think of not just the activities you're doing, but the energy you're giving off to the group as well. Because if you're giving off an energy that you're super excited and you're into whatever activity you guys are doing, they're going to be more into it. And I feel like they're also going to like recognize your authenticity or like not authenticity if you depending how you present yourself.
I love that. I love that. And if any of you are like, I don't want to do the do part, think about it this way. Imagine you're trying to teach someone who's never ridden a bike before how to ride a bike. You have all to learn. You show them the graphs and the charts. You show them the instruction manual for how to ride a bike. You teach them, right? They learn it. Then you have them say it, and they say, all right, I'm going to sit on this seat. I'm going to put my hands on the handlebar. I'm going to put my feet on the pedals, and I'm going to pedal. So they say it, but then they never actually get on a bike. Are they going to learn how to ride a bike? No or no? No.
No.
That's why we have to have the do, the simulation, something, whether it's metaphorical or for real. We have to have something that they can do so they feel empowered. Hey, I learned something and I learned it in the moment and I get it. I love that. Thanks for sharing, Sarah. All right, let's do one more, then we'll take a break.
I guess I have something for say. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but
we can. We got you, Angelica.
Okay, something that we did in high school for me was we had this retreat that I had gone on my senior year, and a way for this applies to say, but a way that they had us reflect is everybody, like day one, it was established that everybody had a notebook. We can like spend, I was thinking of like even applying this to do as well, like the first day of orientation or like pre-orientation, I guess, let them know like, hey guys, have like an orientation notebook, spend day one decorating it, and then they can use that throughout the duration of our time and journal what they're feeling, any questions that they have. So say they have a really important question on their mind so they don't forget it. Because I know in the moment when somebody's talking, you catch on to what they're saying and then you lose your question. Or if you like agree with them, instead of chiming in, you write it in your notebook and then afterwards you can say it. It's just an easier way to get yourself down on paper without having to worry about making sure other people understand it, because it's mainly internally for you.
I love that. Angelica, thank you. Thank you for continuing to share. Look, so I'm going to validate, right? So start there. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for being our third volunteer. That is a beautiful example. You already evaluated it, so you already did that part where you dove a little bit deeper, and then you gave us the insight and action. You said, let's make sure for the first meeting that we tell them, hey, make sure you get a notebook, make sure you get a pad, make sure you get something, whether you get that now or you get it before our next meeting. Decorate it, let's have some fun with it, let's build that, but let this be like your orientational journal. You validate, evaluate, and extrapolate. You did that. I love it. You did it for yourself. I don't have to do any work here. I'm gonna have to do some work. I had to get you to do that, but you did all the magic. I love that.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. All right, so here's what's gonna happen. This is gonna bring us to intermission. We are gonna take our first break. It is on my clock, let's see, 2:49. So let's take a 7-minute break. I expect you back in 10. We will start at 2:59. All right, so we're gonna put you into breakout rooms. That's where we're gonna like push everyone back, and then when that breakout room's over, everyone's gonna come back here. But what we're gonna try and do is create new breakout rooms so that you end up in a new group. All right, so let me see if I can recreate these rooms, recreate all rooms. And hopefully everyone's got a new room, but we're gonna send you to breakout rooms, take a break. If you wanna just talk to people, you're like, I don't have to go to the bathroom, I don't have to stretch. If you wanna stretch, if you wanna walk outside your house or your building, you've got 7 or 8 minutes, and then make sure you come back and we'll start at 2, let's just say we'll start at 3 o'clock. All right, let's do it.